What if ordinary people became profoundly cruel in just a few days? We usually blame that kind of shift on extreme circumstances, but imagine this happening without the stress of war. No fight for survival. This was a controlled psychological experiment designed to test what happens when you put normal minds into an artificial vacuum. In 1971, researchers at Stanford University gathered a group of volunteers. They were strictly vetted and confirmed to be perfectly healthy, ordinary college students. A coin flip decided their fate. Half were randomly assigned to be prisoners. The other half became their guards. The simulation was scheduled for 2 weeks to observe group dynamics. It had to be abruptly shut down after only 6 days. The sudden collapse of the study left a lingering question. How did a mundane academic role-playing exercise spiral into chaos so fast? The researchers constructed a makeshift prison right inside the university basement, complete with barred cells and a solitary confinement closet. This setup was built to test situationism. The theory suggests that an intensely structured environment and strict power dynamics can override individual personality. Almost immediately, the guards began enforcing order. Reports detailed them using increasingly harsh, authoritarian tactics to break the rules of the simulation. On the other side of the bars, the simulated inmates deteriorated quickly. They fell into deep distress, ultimately becoming highly submissive to the guards' demands. For decades, the scientific takeaway was deeply pessimistic. It suggested that given enough social pressure and a badge of authority, any person's moral compass would shatter. But that conclusion relies on the assumption that the experiment was actually a neutral environment. The lead researcher, Philip Zimbardo, didn't observe from afar. He installed himself directly into the simulation as superintendent, creating a massive conflict of interest. Later reviews of the audio recordings revealed that the guards were actually being subtly coached. Researchers actively encouraged them to escalate their aggressive tactics to get better data. In psychology, this is known as demand characteristics. It occurs when participants pick up on what researchers want and alter their actions to deliver those results. The guards' cruelty suggests a calculated performance to please authority rather than genuine malice. The chaos in that basement revealed a total collapse of scientific oversight and ethical boundaries. Even though it was shut down in days, those flawed results cemented the Stanford study as one of the most debated experiments in history. The disaster forced institutions to rethink how they treat human subjects, establishing the strict ethical guidelines that govern all modern psychological studies today. It leaves us with a complicated dual reality. Situational power is dangerous, but unquestioned authority, even when disguised as objective science, is equally perilous. The unsettling question we are still trying to answer is how much of our everyday behavior is truly driven by our core identity, and how much of it is simply a reaction to the specific rooms we walk into and the roles we are expected to play. Unraveling flawed narratives and exploring the dark corners of human history requires us to question the stories we've been told. If you want to look past the surface and uncover the complex truths behind the past, subscribe to Untold Indian Stories, where we dissect history's most fascinating mysteries.